It's a big week of trending legal stories. It started in Baltimore with the second police officer going free in connection with the death of Freddie Gray. And then Bill Cosby now set to stand trial on sexual assault charges. Now a private investigator says that he can prove that Casey Anthony did kill her own daughter. But is there anything that can be done now? Here to discuss is legal analyst Laura Cotter. Laura, welcome back to the show. Good to have you.
Good to see you.
And Laura, Casey Anthony trending today. If she did do this, what can be done about it now?
Nothing. As you know, double jeopardy, res judicata. She's already been tried for the crime and she was acquitted, so she can't be tried again. Just because her attorney admitted in the bankruptcy case, like here, that he knows that she did it, it doesn't mean that she's going to be convicted. Unfortunately, I think everybody knows that Casey did this, so it's just a very sad case.
It is a very sad case.
It's really sad and scandalous. Apparently she couldn't afford to pay her attorney and she was sleeping with him in return for legal services, which is just so unethical.
Oh my goodness.
It just never ends with Casey Anthony.
That's sad to hear. All right, social media is still fired up about the Cosby case, as you know. The judge says there's enough evidence to hold a criminal trial for felony indecent assault from 2004. It's a case involving his accuser, Andrea Constand. Laura, do you think the conviction is likely, or do you think he walks? And if so, why?
I think it is likely because, number one, she's one of 50 people who came forward. She has a position, she works for a university. She's not really looking for fame. She didn't come forward when it was popular to come forward. She came forward back in 2005. She did wait a year, which does raise some suspicion, some credibility issues with her. But overall, I think the jury is going to like her, and I actually think she will get a conviction. This will be his first one.
You're the first person I've heard say that.
Really?
Yeah, you're kind of out on a limb there, but I think that's really cool. His age status helps him. Does his celebrity status help him or work against him in this case?
I think it depends on the judge, but my experience in law as a lawyer is that it does not help you. They don't want that celebrity to stand up and say, well, I'm going to get away with it, and everybody else, goes to jail. There are many, many judges who are aware and they watch for that, and they want to make an example of the defendants. And I think in this case, the judge may do that in Pennsylvania.
So if he is convicted, how long does he go away for?
It could be 30 or 40 years.
Wow.
However, the judge can have those sentences run concurrently, so it's just 10 years. I mean, he is getting on in age, like you said, so right. 10 years, that may be long enough.
So do you think then that will he stand trial for the other women that he's abused as well?
Mostly no, because the statute of limitations have run. They missed their opportunity. I mean, these cases go back to the 1970s, before that even. So most, no. This one, yes, she came forward within, enough time. She actually did still have contact with him between the assault and when she came forward, which was strange. Yeah, so there are some twists that will come out as the trial goes on.
Wow. Freddie Gray case is trending today. A judge cleared Officer Edward Nero this week of all charges related to the death of Freddie Gray. Laura, we were bracing for riots, but thank God they didn't happen. But do you think the rest of the officers will also be as lucky as Officer Nero was?
Potentially no. Potentially no. The Nero had limited contact with Gray, and so some of the other officers are actually facing heavier charges. So I think there will be more scrutiny. However,
there were cameras that showed, and there's also a history of this sort of bizarre overreaction to police action with him, and so but the public doesn't get to see any of that, so it's very hard to.
It's very difficult to tell. The standard is so high. Judges are going to be reluctant to hold police officers accountable for just bad judgment. They want to see intent to cause harm. They want to see actual intent to assault, and that's going to be very, very difficult. It's beyond a reasonable doubt.
That's going to be tough. All right, the charges I thought were as good as a conviction because the state's attorney seemed pretty sure that these people were all going to be in trouble. She had a really solid case. Why are we now looking at the second officer going free?
I believe, like I said, the standard is just too high. There haven't been many police officer convictions in the United States because of this reason. I think that there is a public issue, and I think the judges realize that there are many police officers who are just doing their job, and sometimes they make mistakes. You can't hold them accountable for assault or murder for a mistake on the job. And I think, but however, in this case, with those officers who are going to trial, I think we will see possible convictions based on the neglect and some of the actions that they took.
Now, 2 of them are suing Marilyn Mosby for
Defamation.
Is that going to stick?
No, absolutely not. Because prosecutors have immunity, they're protected, they have a higher standard. They would have to show that she maliciously made up lies about them with the intent to cause harm, and she didn't. They're saying that she just completely lied about them to stop the riots at the conference. But they won't succeed. Defamation is very, very difficult. She has the same constitutional rights as everybody else, but she's also protected as a public figure.
All right.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn's widow and 2 children filed a lawsuit trying to hold tobacco companies responsible for Gwynn's death. A lot of people, though, die from using tobacco. Does the Gwynn family, will they win this?
I think they will. The fact that at the time when they targeted him at university, the tobacco industry absolutely knew the carcinogenic effect of tobacco use. And then they targeted him, and they targeted other athletes and other students. And before that, he hadn't drank, he hadn't smoked, and there were no labels. That's the important part as a lawyer, and everybody knows that maybe if they had put a warning label on there, they wouldn't be in trouble. But at that time, they didn't. And I think they have a really, really strong suit.
All right, Mexican drug lord El Chapo trending today on Twitter. Mexico's agreed to extradite El Chapo to the U.S. to stand trial for drug trafficking and organized crime. But he's not here yet, so how do you see this going forward?
He's not here. He's actually close. They moved him for a different reason, something to do with his facilities being renovated, so he's close to the border. However, his attorneys are going to appeal. So they have 30 days to appeal. They haven't done it yet, but they have said they're going to. So this is going to take time. As usual, he's not going to come here anytime soon. We did give our promise that he would not be executed, and that's why this happened. That's why he is being extradited now. Mexico said, all right, I believe you. And we'll see. I actually think he will end up here. It'll just be another few months.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much
for
being with us, Laura.